North stings the corner. You know it's coming. You still can't stop it.
We're back after a week away because we were out on the field competing. We are back. It's Tuesday night. It's the Lacrosse Rundown. It's Charlotte North and ESPN's Jay Alter, and we're fired up to be back with you because we got a lot to look back on and break down and a lot to look forward to.
Charlotte, so awesome to be back with our Lacrosse Rundown community. Awesome reaction to the WLL announcement. Loved all your feedback.
Oh, yeah.
The last time we were together. Still riding high on that awesome news and setting up for an epic 2026 in the world of lacrosse. Charlotte, I thought you were done with the gold medals for 2025. I thought we had to wait a little bit till 2026, and then boom, the Atlas Cup appears seemingly out of the sky. Tell us what you were doing by winning the Atlas Cup. And kind of take us through it. What was it like being back with Team USA?
Yeah, so I know some of you guys were actually there on site at USA Lacrosse headquarters. Shout out to all of you guys right now who are watching and in the chat who were there in Sparks, Maryland. And then some of you guys who popped into the live stream on USA Lacrosse YouTube channel. They streamed all the games of the Atlas Cup, but the Atlas Cup was, the premier fall tournament and event for international competition in the sixes discipline. So it was hosted at USA Lacrosse headquarters. Beautiful, beautiful field that we have spent many, many hours on, playing many games, many training camps. And 4 countries on the men's and the women's side were competing for the Atlas Cup trophy at the end on Sunday. And it was us, the USA team on the men's and the women's side. It was the Haudenosaunee, it was Puerto Rico, and it was Team Canada. So it was unbelievable competition. We broke an attendance record at USA Lacrosse HQ on Saturday with the amount of people who came to watch. It was unbelievable. The atmosphere, there was so much going on. There was a fan zone. There were tons of activities. There was some face paint going on. We got to go through the autograph line after each game, and people had some pretty intricate designs in terms of face paint. It was legit. We heard them all game long, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But prior to all those games, we had training camp all week. And, we got better. We got after it. It was awesome. It's just an unbelievable opportunity every time you get to wear the red, white, and blue. You never take it for granted. And it was a really, really fun week. And we went 3-0, came out on top. We defeated Canada on Sunday. And we got the job done.
And what a special week, getting to compete in training camp and then getting to do it in front of that record crowd on Saturday, Charlotte, and bringing another medal home for the red, white, and blue. You mentioned the sixes discipline, which obviously I hope the Lacrosse Rundown community knows at this point. That's going to be the discipline used in the 2028 Olympics. It had been a little while, right, since you had done sixes. So what was it like for you and your teammates to get back into that mindset? Obviously a crazy fast tempo like we've talked about.
Yeah, so if you guys, followed us in the World Games this summer in China, you saw a lot of the same faces playing for this team in the Atlas Cup in the sixes discipline. But the biggest thing is every time we step on the field and we play the sixes discipline, we're learning so much more. Every film session we have as a team with the coaching staff, every time, we have, 2 practices in a day, we're getting better from the first to the second practice. Like there's just so much opportunity to learn about how to play the discipline and different areas you can gain an advantage in, different defenses you can run, different ways you can substitute and transition. We really played this discipline at first in a competitive format at the championship series with the WLL this past February. And we're looking forward to doing that again. I mean, it feels like, February is far away, but it's nearly October. And we're already thinking ahead to February WLL.
Well, you'll have so many more reps in sixes than you did last February because of all the international play that has adopted sixes, which is great for you, great for the sport. I think the big winner in sixes is the fans. I mean, you mentioned that record attendance.
Oh, yeah.
In playing in front of those fans in this discipline, you get more of the reaction, I think, because there's so much going on constantly, right? There's just seems to be more of a buzz. Am I wrong?
No, you're completely right. And a lot of people think that means, oh my gosh, well, we're just seeing goal after goal after goal. Like, what about the defense and what about the goalies? Like, there are plenty of defensive highlights and goalie saves that happen, even though these scores are much higher. You know, there's a faster shot clock. It's 30 seconds. You got 10 seconds to get it over the midline and clear the ball onto your offensive zone. And yes, a lot of shots are fired off. A lot of goals are scored. There are a lot of awesome highlights from Sixes. But I'll tell you firsthand, we've got some of the most athletic defenders, midfielders, and goalies, and now attackers playing defense who are making stops and coming up with ridiculous, saves. We had Shea Dolce and Taylor Moreno as our goalies on Team USA, and they are two of the best goalies that have ever played. They are ridiculously athletic, making stops 1-on-none, 2-on-1, 3-on-2. It's insane to watch. So if you love goal scoring, yes, Sixes is fun to watch, but you can also love the other aspects of the game and still find that within a Sixes game.
Charlotte, I think it just amplifies everything.
Yeah.
So if you love goal scoring, you're going to get more of it. If you love good defense, you're going to get more of it. If you like 6 saves, you're going to get more of it because of the format being so fast paced. It's not like you're getting more of one thing or less of one thing. I think you're just getting more of everything.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of the sport on steroids, so to speak, which is awesome. And I'm glad Team USA got the job done. 3-0. You win the Atlas Cup. We're big golf fans. Also this weekend, the Ryder Cup. Team USA did not get it done. Charlotte, they needed to channel your Atlas Cup energy. Come on.
We were rooting them on in between games, in our downtime. We were watching every bit of the Ryder Cup that we could to try to give them our best, the best vibes and momentum and energy. Sunday was incredible. We just needed that Friday and Saturday, but shout out to the USA golf team. Incredibly fun to watch. They play with a lot of pride, a lot of passion, and they did not go down without a fight because they almost staged the most insane comeback in all of sports, period, full stop.
Well, if I had to pick, if Team USA was only going to win one, the Atlas Cup or the Ryder Cup, I would have picked the Atlas Cup for you, Charlotte. And hopefully we get the Ryder Cup in the coming years. Also, the Atlas Cup, no affiliation with PLL champions, New York Atlas. One is a bowl and one is a cup. So no affiliation there.
Although there were New York Atlas members on the U.S. men's team participating in the Atlas Cup. So we had Connor Schellenberger on the men's team and a number of other players. Jeff Teat was playing on the Canadian team, of course. So no affiliation with them. But, those PLL guys transitioned quite nicely, obviously, to the Sixes discipline and pretty quickly after winning a PLL championship, too.
Yeah, not much downtime. Straight back into competing for championships. That is awesome. Speaking of championships and speaking of golf, if you didn't see this highlight, Wes, roll it in there. Cornell head coach Connor Buczek, little fall golf outing.
Yeah.
Hole in one. This is the year of Cornell. You win a national championship for the first time in decades. Now your head coach buries a hole in one. I was thinking, Charlotte, what's more likely to happen again for Connor Buczek? He wins another national championship at Cornell or hits another hole in one?
It's tough to say without knowing how much golf he plays. I wish someone was recording this swing of his and the hole in one.
Yeah, what did he shoot for the round? Did he shoot an 87 and this was just a good shot on a par 3, or is this guy an even golfer here?
Or 2025 is just his year. Who knows? But I think, obviously they graduated a lot of talent at Cornell, headlined by CJ Kurse, Michael Long, and a few others. But he has clearly proven himself as a tremendous coach that really cares about team culture and building something, that is sustainable, something that, passes on year to year, regardless of who's in that locker room. And you can just see the way, that team loves playing together. So I wouldn't be surprised if they prove a lot of people wrong and they make it back to championship weekend this year. But obviously we got a long way to go.
What is the closest you have been to a hole in one?
Oh, geez. Not very close. Probably like 6 or 7 feet. Maybe.
Okay, so you haven't sweated one.
And then I probably 2-putt for a par instead of capitalizing. But it's gonna come one day for you guys at the Lacrosse Rundown, where we know a lot of golfers out there love lacrosse and vice versa. it's gonna come. It's gonna come one day.
When that happens, you will bring the ball to the
Yes.
lacrosse rundown.
Maybe we'll give it away.
I've never done a hole-in-one, but I did hit an eagle from like 178 yards out where we thought we lost the ball. It was one of those uphill greens.
And it just rolled in.
And I'm thinking, okay, I hit it really well, but you just don't know. You didn't see it land or anything. So we get to the green, and my buddies are like, oh, man, we thought you hit it so well. It must have rolled off. So we checked everywhere but the hole.
No.
Finally, we were like, wait a minute. Ball in the hole. So awesome stuff.
I did roll out from the bunker for my first eagle ever this summer. But hole in one. That's pretty insane. So shout out to Cornell head coach Connor Buczek.
One thing we promise you, the golf junkies that also love lacrosse and lacrosse rundown, is Charlotte and I one time here during the season or the off season, we will give you some lacrosse rundown golf coverage. We talk about it way too. Charlotte versus me in golf. So
we got to get the whole crew there too, and we'll live stream from the golf course so that so that you guys can see what we do in between broadcasts on our trips in the spring.
Okay, so it's not all fun and games though in the fall.
Yes.
We've got college programs around the country really getting into the thick of their fall camp. Scrimmages are coming in less than 2 weeks now, Charlotte.
Yep.
So take us through. You've been a part of teams, when you're going through your fall progressions and you're getting ready for that first scrimmage, just such an exciting time.
I mean, you show up on campus, you're nervous, you participate in your run tests, you start the early morning lifts, and then the second you get to put on your penny and go out there and play lacrosse with your team and start to build up in practice, you start with smaller sided drills, then you progress, and then suddenly you're doing, full-blown 7v7 or transition lacrosse, and you feel like you're starting to gel with your teammates and understand their tendencies and where you may fit into the equation, and you're putting in extra hours, all week long. And then, sometimes in the early fall, you don't have anything at the end of the week that, you're looking forward to. You don't have those games, like you do in the spring. Once we hit where we are right now, you have scrimmages, you have play days, you have opportunities to play against people that aren't wearing the same colors as you. And that is so fun because you go against each other every day and you start to get sick of going against the same defenders, 1v1, etc., over and over and just beating each other up. Obviously, that's how we get better. But when you get to go play against another team in the fall and get a taste, just a little taste of what it feels like, you're not in uniforms. You're not really, in an official game. Obviously, it's a scrimmage, but it's a little taste of what's to come in the spring, and it really motivates you. I mean, for all of you guys who are out there and you're getting ready to play in your first fall ball scrimmage, the nerves will be there, similar to how they'll be in the first game of February. But it's not for real. So you get to try things out, and you get to really learn from mistakes. But at the end of the day, you get to go out there and have fun competing and celebrating with your teammates. And there's truly nothing better. So for all of you guys out there, enjoy your first fall ball scrimmage. Have so much fun, but also be willing to adapt, learn, play a different position, try, dodging from the different side of the field, try, defending crease players. If you're used to defending people from up top, try taking the draw, try going on the circle, all these things are what fall ball is all about.
Now, when I hear you saying those things, Charlotte, creativity, taking risks, that is what brings out the best in lacrosse. If everybody just played it safe, we wouldn't have the beautiful game that we have. It was born really going all the way back to the roots of the sport and the Native Americans and just trying to give something right to the game. And I think that's what the fall is about. Exactly what you just said. Do something that maybe you've been practicing in the summer, and now you get to apply it. That creative thing that you came up with, that crazy idea that you had, you get to apply it for the first time in a game setting. And guess what? If it doesn't work, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to come down as a win or a loss like it would in the spring. And to me, Charlotte, for the coaches, right? We're talking from a player perspective, but if you're a coach, this is your opportunity. Let's play these group of players together. We didn't see this combination last year because we've got a new transfer. We've got a new freshman. They're trying to find what's going to meld the right way when it comes to the spring. And for me, that's what the sport is all about, because rooted in the DNA of this sport is taking risks, is being creative, is pushing the envelope. And we get to see that for the first time in the fall.
It's unbelievable. And for all of you, lacrosse lovers out there who want to, watch more lacrosse and go out to a game, there are plenty of games to be circled on the fall ball schedule that's coming up. USA Lacrosse put out, kind of a giant master schedule of fall ball lacrosse. And if you have some teams coming to your area, maybe playing at a stadium near you, go out and watch them play. Even though it's not, a game that counts, like you mentioned, in the middle of the season, as a win or a loss, it is still highly competitive. Nobody likes to lose in the spring, but I can promise you none of these coaches or athletes like to lose in the fall, even though maybe they're not, officially keeping score. Everybody is keeping score, behind the scenes and within their own teams. So these are competitive games. You're going to see these athletes who are in peak shape because they've been grinding all fall, try to slowly build their team's identity for the 2026 season. And I mean, I've got a couple scheduled on my or circled on my schedule. Sorry.
Yeah, what do you got
coming up? And for those of you who were just at the Atlas Cup and live near Maryland, there is a USA Lacrosse Play Day happening at the same field that we just played on in Sparks, Maryland on October 11th. We've got the heavyweights coming into town to play against each other. A lot of people think, okay, fall ball, maybe, they play teams in the area, local teams. They don't fly to these destinations to play teams, but not for this one. We've got North Carolina, the reigning national champions from 2025. We've got Boston College, who was obviously in that Final Four as well this past year. We've got Navy coming off their first Patriot League title in a long time this past season. And we've got Denver, who obviously has been, in the limelight and in the top 15 conversation for quite some time as well. So 4 teams that are ready to get after it will be playing on October 11th at USA Lacrosse Stadium headquarters in Sparks, Maryland. So if you guys are near there, I mean, that's definitely one to circle.
That is awesome. Some star power for sure on October 11th at USA headquarters. How about this? It's going to be also the first time we're getting to see and react to how the rule changes that we talked about a few weeks ago are being implemented, because, again, it's all great on paper. We talked about it at that episode. I understand what we're trying to accomplish, but now you get to see it in a game setting for the first time. Coaches get to react to it. And that, to me, is going to set the tone for the spring. Is as we see these fall scrimmages play out, what's the reaction to the new rules as we're seeing them implemented in actual games?
Yeah, and you've got referees on site. They're treating it like a real game, because these are reps for the referees as well. Like this is practice for them too, to understand. Obviously, we love lacrosse and we love the intricacies of the sport. It could be a little bit complex at times, especially, when you're changing the rules, year to year or every 2 years, and you're tweaking some things to try to help the game and speed up the game and also make it, easier on the referees. But it's also changed. So they have to go through the same process of understanding how to call these games. And then you've got, these teams and coaches who are able to have conversations and pick the ref's brain a little bit on understanding, okay, this is what that really means, and this is what it's going to look like in terms of those changes. One rule change that, I've been, excited to see in these fall scrimmages is the draw stick rule, where you're now, in lacrosse, the face-off for the men and the draw control for the women is how you gain possession. In the women's game, we've seen over time these stick manufacturing companies, they have created what we call draw sticks. So draw heads, specific to that position, taking the draw, taking the face off, helping you gain an advantage against the player you're taking the draw against. And now in the college game, if you're using a draw stick and you want to exchange for your field stick after you take the draw, that's something I did as a draw taker and an attacker. We have many of those in the college game who do both, but they don't use their draw stick as they go on and play offense or defense. They have to switch sticks. You now have to go off the field, exchange your stick in the box or, outside of the field, and then you can come back on. So you can't really exchange it without running off. And so that's going to be interesting. I mean, another thing to look at as we see it may slow down transition. Maybe that player isn't able to be a part of transition, or maybe it incentivizes people to play with the draw stick and just maintain, full possession with that stick. So it's going to be interesting.
To me, that throws off your timing, right? So you used to win the draw, get it to a teammate, switch sticks, stay on. Now you got to kind of train your brain to go out. It just takes a couple of extra seconds, but it's more the mental repetition that now you get to see in game. And I'm just thinking of, last year we saw so much dominance on the draw by players that stay in on attack. And Charlotte, you were obviously, when you played for Boston College, certainly that. Would you ever think about staying on with the draw stick, or it is so much of a dramatic difference with that stick head that you really have no choice but to take that 10-15 seconds and switch sticks?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of players come to mind who have done that. They stay, they put the pocket that they prefer for both the draw and whatever position they play, offense, defense, midfield. They use the same pocket in that draw head, and it's worked. People have done it. It's not impossible. I am someone who is a little bit more particular about the stick I play offense with versus the draw head. I see too much of a difference in terms of the equipment that I prefer. But, Ali Mastroianni is a great example. She, is able to do both. She's able to use a draw head. She's on the U.S. national team, plays on, the California Palms and the WLL. But she's been someone who's done both. We've seen Isabella Peterson in her time at James Madison. When they went on an incredible run, she was able to dominate at the draw and also play attack with her draw stick. Maddie Epke, also from James Madison, she transferred to Northwestern this offseason. So excited to see her and the impact she has on that team this spring. But she's someone who also has dominated the draw and offense. So those are just, a few players, but there are many players we're going to see have to make adjustments to this rule, and teams and units. We talk about the draw unit, and we talked about, Northwestern this past spring. They made it to the national title game, and a lot of that was because of their draw unit and Sam Smith at the draw. We saw what she did at the WL All-Star game, of course, at the draw control circle, but it was their draw unit and the way that they were able to be, so dominant as that 3-person string. But that's going to shift and change depending on how teams approach this rule change and how these players as draw takers are comfortable doing so.
That's a great thing to watch, Charlotte. Last thing for me in terms of rule changes is we're getting our first look at the new free position in 8-meter spots.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see free position numbers plummet.
Really?
I think it's going to be much easier for the goalkeeper to know, okay, I only have to focus on these 2 spots that a shot could potentially come from. I just think even in the whatever it is, 5-6 weeks since we had our rules episode, Charlotte, that's the one to me that I think that free position is going to be affected really negatively it's supposed to be a pro for the team that earns it, right?
Yep.
Like, the defense committed a penalty, but I actually think it's going to result in a turnover more than a goal. So we'll see what happens. I'm really going to be curious. I'll be watching those free position numbers throughout the fall.
Yeah, hopefully there are some live streams of these fall games if you're not able to get to one, and we can all follow along together because this is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting to see these new looks for all these teams, these new rules implemented, of course. And then we can't wait, as the fall continues, to have conversations right here on the Lacrosse Rundown with coaches, with players who are living this out right now and preparing for, the 2026 collegiate season. And then, of course, some figures of the WLL preparing for the 2026 championship series and the 2026 season. So we have a lot to discuss, but we appreciate you guys always being here on Tuesday nights because you guys are the best part of this. We want to hear from you guys about what you think. If you're going to a fall ball game, if you have a team that you want to watch this fall, drop it in the comments and we'll be able to highlight that and get to that for you guys. Any questions you guys want answered on the show, make sure you drop them after this live stream ends tonight. And they'll be featured as well. But we appreciate you guys, and we can't wait for next week.
Yeah, give us your guest list. Give us your questions. Give us your topics. The off season belongs to the Lacrosse Rundown community as we get you up to speed on what I think is going to be the best year in the history of the sport of lacrosse in 2026. So we're ready for it. And another great Tuesday night with you guys, Charlotte. And congratulations again on another championship for Team USA. And by the way, I am going to need one of those hats.
shout out to our coach Michelle Tumolo. She designed these hats, I think. So yeah, we have some good swag here over at Team USA for sure. But thank you guys. Go USA, and lots of lax to come. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.